people did continue to try to escape East Berlin and East Germany. Between 1961 and 1989, more than 5,000 East Germans and like 600 border guards were able to escape.
Wow.
But the methods were wild. So some people would like jump out of buildings, like jump out of windows of buildings that were like right next to the wall.
Yeah.
Some people managed to climb over the wall. Some people used hot air balloons.
Oh.
Some people crawled through the sewers.
Ooh.
And there were a couple instances where people would just drive through the wall.
Oh.
In their cars or trucks or whatever.
Oh, like the open spaces?
No, crash into the wall to create a hole and then leave through the hole.
Jesus. That's desperate.
Yes. Welcome to, I can't stop laughing. Welcome to Ill-Equipped History. This is our very first episode.
We're struggling so hard.
It's late.
It's late. Fine.
When this comes out, I will be on the beach.
I'm so happy for you.
I know. I'm also so happy for you too. And I just found out, was it yesterday, the day before, Kyle's sister-in-law, who we didn't think would be able to come with us, is able to come.
Yay!
And we're so happy. So it's going to be the full family. And we get to bring our doggos with us. And I'm so happy to meet my new nephew doggo.
Yay.
That's how it works, right? Yeah.
Yes.
I know my niece doggo, but they just got a new boy dog a few months ago that I
sweet.
haven't had a chance to meet yet. His name's Franklin.
What a name.
And he's so cute.
Oh my god, you could call him Frankie.
Frankie. So we're all going to be, it's his whole family, and we're going to be hanging out for 7 days from Saturday to Saturday. That's on the beach. And I'm so excited to just relax and not think about anything and read a ton of books and just enjoy the sound of waves.
I'm so excited for you. Beach trips for me now are like a mix because relaxing is what they're not anymore with children.
Yeah. Right.
Nick and I, a couple of years ago, went to a friend's wedding. They live in Florida, right above Jacksonville. And we were able for like 2 days to just sit on the beach alone. We really didn't know what to do with ourselves at all.
I bet that was amazing.
It was so nice. Like, it was amazing. It was also like, we kind of miss the kids.
Yeah.
They're a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We're like boogie boarding and like building sandcastles. And one year my daughter dug a hole for herself and we were like, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm making a hole so when I take a nap later, I can sleep in the hole. And we were like, that was really funny. Haha. She did. She wanted to sleep later and got in the hole. She was past nap age. She was like 6.
Yeah. But I mean, beach days, like naps, beach day naps are top tier.
Oh God. Yeah. I'm like, why didn't I think of that? Dig yourself a hole for when you're tired later. You could just burrow into it.
Yeah, and the sand is all cool because it hasn't been in the sun.
The girl doesn't play with naps. She knows what she's about.
Yeah.
I can respect it.
I do remember when you were pregnant and you built a hole for your belly so you could lay on your belly.
It was glorious. Yeah. It was normally I dig myself a butt hole because I a little ditch for my butt cheeks to go into, and so my back is flat. But no, I did. I belly hold it. Yeah.
That sounds weird. I belly hold it. That sounds really weird.
Well, it's better than saying I dug myself a butthole, but it's like... Yeah.
Oh my God. God.
Yeah, you see Emily on a beach digging a hole. Don't ask what she's doing, okay? This thing needs a place to go.
Digging you a new butthole. That's a sentence you don't hear every day.
No, it's not.
Oh, anyway.
Anywho.
We do need to get started because we have a really bad habit of yakking.
Oh, so, if last episode was like extra yakking, we're sorry.
We hadn't talked all week.
Yeah,
and
I was too busy almost killing myself. So.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Anyway, let's get into our skit.
Let's do it.
August 13th, 1961. A family is getting ready to head to a movie theater in West Berlin from their apartment in East Berlin. This is a trip they have made several times before.
Okay, everyone. Make sure you have your papers. We're almost to the checkpoint. I can't wait to see the new movie. I heard the hero is so handsome.
And I heard he punches the bad guy. Yeah! This is supposed to be a family-friendly film, right, dear?
Yes, of course.
The family approaches a checkpoint that separates the Soviet-controlled East Berlin and the Allied-controlled West Berlin. They see a familiar face, the guard that often checks their documents. However, he is not his usual cheerful self.
Good evening, Hans. We're on our way to the cinema to see the new film. Here are our papers.
This is not permitted.
Excuse me. Hans, let us through, please. We don't want to be late.
You are not permitted to cross.
Hans, what's going on?
New orders from the GDR. No unauthorized travel is permitted. You need to go back home, now.
Dad, what's going on? Hans, please.
The guard quickly looks around to make sure his fellow guards are out of earshot.
Really, you need to go home. There's a strict curfew. I'm not sure how you missed the news.
The news of what?
The wall. The GDR is building a huge wall so no one can pass through.
A wall?
Across the whole of Berlin. Really? How did you miss the announcement?
Hans straightens back up.
You must leave. You are not permitted to cross. Go home now.
Quickly, the family moves away from the checkpoint and returns home. For the next 3 decades, people living in East Berlin, and more largely East Germany, will essentially be held prisoner to uphold the population in Soviet-controlled territory.
Whoo, this is a topic I'm so excited to talk about.
Oh, good. So, Emily figured it out. We are talking about the Berlin Wall.
I'm only excited because I feel like this is one of those topics that, like other topics we have discussed previously, were not done justice in our school systems.
Yes.
And I know about it. I know it fell. I don't know that much about it, and I'm very excited to actually dig into it.
I really was too. It just popped into my head. I don't even know if I was thinking about anything. It was just like Berlin Wall, and it wouldn't leave my brain. So I was like, I guess I'm going to talk about the Berlin Wall.
This is awesome.
So we've talked a bit in the past about some Cold War era events. So there are going to be some recurring characters. John F. Kennedy makes an appearance. Nikita Khrushchev is brought up a lot. He was a Soviet premier for a while. Gorbachev comes in at the end. So we'll talk about a lot of people. I'll do my best to keep things, relatively chronological as best as I can.
Yeah.
It's a complex situation that we're going to talk about today with varying political factions and ideologies. I want to be, sensitive because this was a really tough time that still has ramifications to this day. So I hope I do this justice, of course, because this is a really hard time for a lot of people. So we're going to start right after World War II.
Okay.
We know World War II. I'm not going to get
again
into... We've talked about World War II so much. If you don't know World War II and what happened and how the war ended, where have you been?
Yeah, seriously.
It's been 80 years. So, after the Allies defeat the Nazis, there's no more government in Germany because the Nazis were the government. Now there's no more Nazis, well, in power.
Yeah.
So now there's no government. So the main Allied forces, the US, the United Kingdom, or Great Britain, sort of France a little bit, and the USSR all meet to discuss how are they going to set up a government in this entire country that is now devoid of any such thing. So US President Harry Truman, Soviet Premier Joseph Stalin, and British Prime Minister Winston Churchill, who soon replaced with Clement Attlee, met in Potsdam, Germany to discuss how the now leaderless nation would move forward, and this is known as the Potsdam Conference. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about this Potsdam Conference. What they agreed to was that Germany would be partitioned into 4 Allied occupied zones. Mm-hmm. So, East Germany went to the Soviet Union.
Okay.
And West Germany was divided between the United States, Great Britain, and France.
Okay.
So, the problem is Berlin is the seat of power in Germany. That was the capital before, all this happened. And it's entirely within the Soviet bloc. But Berlin was also divided into 4 partitions between the Soviet Union, the US, Great Britain, and France.
Got it.
So it's like a little island in the middle of all things Soviet.
Gotcha.
And the Soviets were not happy about this. They're like, well, we should have all of Berlin because it's all in Soviet territory, but they didn't have the bargaining power to go up against 3 Allied nations right after a war, a major war that decimated all of their armies, basically. And very quickly, the occupation started in that June. The war ended in April, so within just a few months.
Damn.
The Allied forces began occupying Germany. So West Germany, which is in control of the US, Great Britain, and France, it was unified as the Federal Republic of Germany. Or we'll just call it West Germany or the FRG.
Okay.
If that comes up. It's very capitalist,
Yeah.
The 3 countries are very pro-free market.
Okay.
The Soviet Union is very pro-communism. So East Berlin and East Germany are now communist because they're under Soviet power. Like I said, the Soviets were not happy about the setup and how these capitalist devils were in Berlin surrounded by Soviet territory. So they actually tried to blockade West Berlin from supplies, from goods, from food, starting in 1948. And the military governor of the American zone in Germany, his name was General Lucius Clay, and he starts arranging airlifts to drop supplies into West Berlin. And this is now known as the Berlin Airlift.
Okay.
For over a year, the Allies dropped over 2.3 million tons of food and goods and fuel to the people living in West Berlin.
Wow.
So and it lasted a year, over a year. The Soviets finally just lift the blockade in 1949, but there's no other conflicts that are starting up about this. Not at least
They're
none that
just
are
starving people for no reason.
Yeah, because they're like, get out of here. And then the other allies are like, no. And then they're like, fine.
Oh my God.
So and we've talked about it before, these tensions lead into the Cold War, which is this not explicit war between essentially the communism and capitalism.
Right.
And the main participants are the Soviet Union and the United States. So, like I said, the FRG, the West Germany and West Berlin, was a free market economy, had multi-party political system, and it experienced a lot of very high economic growth in a standard of living after World War II. People in West Germany and West Berlin were doing great, besides the blockade, of course, but, you know, people just wanted to move on from the war, and they wanted to live their lives. Things were going great. In East Berlin, in East Germany, they had the Socialist Unity Party, or the SED, which is part of the German Democratic Republic, or the GDR. And this is the Communist Party.
Okay.
So the GDR is the primary communist party in Germany, and then the SED was like a smaller branching political party from the overarching government. And the SED said this is a democracy. It was not. It was a communist dictatorship. And very few people liked this setup. So there were no free elections, no freedom of speech or press, no freedom of travel. Like, you couldn't leave. You had to stay where you were. And there were no privately owned companies. The state controlled the economy, which that's part of communism, but that, you know, that's hard.
Yeah.
In addition, there was an oppressive culture of control and surveillance. And, of course, there had to be a secret police.
Of course there is.
Known as the Stasi. And these were the SED secret police that monitored and suppressed political opponents. So if people spoke out against the SED or the Communist Party, they would be investigated by the Stasi or even, like, captured.
What the fuck?
And a lot of people were imprisoned for being outspoken opponents of the Communist Party in East Germany. So again, it's very oppressive. So for the next few years, people can go. It's a border, but it's a relatively open border.
Right.
So people can travel between East and West Berlin. For the purpose of this episode, we're going to be mainly focused on Berlin, because it's the Berlin Wall.
Right.
Just know that there's other stuff still going on in Germany as a whole. But people could go back and forth between East Germany and West Germany. But in 1952, the border was officially closed.
Okay.
There was not physical obstacles in the way, but it was not an open border. So you had to go through checkpoints to get back and forth.
So
you
it wasn't closed, but you had to go through. If you were found out to be over and you didn't have the correct paperwork, it was going to be bad.
Right. Yeah. You couldn't just, like, skedaddle over there. There was a process you had to go through. So things were relatively calm and chill throughout the 50s.
Okay.
But in 1958, we have the beginnings of the space race, where the Soviet Union successfully launched a satellite into space, the Sputnik launch.
Yeah. And
there were increasing tensions between the U.S. and the USSR, as we've talked about before with the Cold War. Mm-hmm. And a problem that they're having, though, especially in East Germany, is that they're losing millions of citizens who are fleeing East Germany to West Germany. And a lot of these people were highly trained specialists. They're losing doctors, they're losing engineers, because they have more opportunity and more freedom in West Germany than in East Germany. In 10 years, 3 million people left East Germany.
They were leaving in droves.
Yes.
How lucky would you feel if you were, like, one of those last people to get through right before they closed?
Yeah. And I mean, and we'll talk about it a little bit, but there was a frenzy for sure. when they realized what was going on. And there's, over the decade, as the Soviet Union is starting to more firmly grasp its hold on East Germany, because again, it's split in the middle. There's conferences and negotiations that are trying to be held between the capitalists and the communist parties, and nothing's really going anywhere. They can't agree on anything, so things are largely staying the same. And towards the end of the 50s, the new premier, after Joseph Stalin died, was Nikita Khrushchev. And he starts talking about a full communist takeover with an official peace treaty between the USSR and East Germany. And I don't know if they were planning on annexing East Germany, but it caused a mass exodus. People, in June and July of 1961, 49,000 people fled.
Whoa.
In 2 months. And on August 12th of 1961, 2,400 people left to West Germany in a single day.
Holy crap.
And that was the most that had defected in a single day. So that evening, the higher-ups of the German government and met with Nikita Khrushchev, and he gave the okay for the East German government to begin building a wall to literally physically close the border between the two halves of Berlin. So they built this partition separating East Germany from the evil fascist Western Germany on August 13th of 1961. And it started out with like just little barriers and barbed wire. And then it started becoming more like concrete.
Yeah.
Slabs. But I mean, it was so chaotic. I was reading stories about people who were freaking out as the wall was being built. And there's this one woman who, her apartment was in West Germany, but the street and the entrance to her apartment was in East Germany, technically.
Yeah. So
she was like, how the hell am I supposed to get into my apartment if I literally can't get in because I can't cross this border freely? So it was just pandemonium. Families were literally separated.
Oh my God.
Because before all of this was one big city that was kind of arbitrarily, with some geography in mind, separated, and now there's a literal wall going up with barbed wire and armed guards.
Wow.
Where people were just going back and forth. And in 2 weeks, this wall is finished.
What the hell?
It was 156 kilometers or 96.3 miles long.
In 2 weeks?
In 2 weeks. And it was pretty roughshod at the start, but over time it became a lot more complex. And I saw it was I saw it explained so many times, and I'm trying to figure out if I'm understanding it right. So they built a concrete wall down the length of the wall. And then they built an additional wall in East Germany that was made of barbed wire. So you had to get through the barbed wire and then through the concrete, which also had barbed wire on it, which also had armed guards and watchtowers. There were watchtowers every 250 meters. So there was always someone watching you. They had dog runs, so if people were trying to escape over the wall, there were dogs that would bark or chase you or attack you. They had very bright lights, so you couldn't sneak in because they painted the walls white and then put really, really bright light, so if there was any movement, it would cast a shadow.
Oh my God.
So there's no way to sneak. It was so oppressive. And the area around the wall was literally called the Death Strip because unofficially, guards had permission to shoot escapees if they were not able to prevent people from fleeing.
Oh my God.
It is awful.
God, I can't.
So oppressive.
The thought of being trapped. No.
And it's arbitrary, your house just happened to be on this side of the country, and now you're stuck in an oppressive communist regime.
Now, was it going all around Berlin?
It's through Berlin. I have a map.
Yeah.
In the notes for you.
So,
I don't know if it...
What happens outside of Berlin?
So, Germany is also divided, but there's not a wall going through the whole country of Germany. There is a border. And I don't know about how the border was enforced. I do know there were some areas between, like, other Soviet countries that did have, like, chain link separating the border. Like, I saw pictures of, like, West Germany and, like, maybe Czechoslovakia, where they were literally, like, cutting into the chain link fence with, like, wire cutters.
So you
because it was separating those two areas.
You couldn't just leave the city of Berlin, go into more USSR territory, go around the wall, and then pop in from another side. They basically blockaded West Germany off. And then it would be hell to try to get from, let's just say, any other part of the USSR to any other part of Germany.
And people, I mean, people still tried.
Yes.
And people did, but it was a lot harder now.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure, again, I really just focus on the Berlin Wall side of things. So, but I know that, like, towards the end, as things got a little bit loosened up, like, Austria, for example, had opened its borders.
Right.
So East Germans could, like, come through Austria and then go around and, like, get to France.
Okay.
Through Austria. So, but I think that the USSR was really trying to lock down its occupation territories.
Right.
And I saw so many different numbers of the amount of people who died trying to escape.
Yeah. I've
seen on the low end, it's like 130, 140. Okay. And I've seen on the high end over 300 people.
Holy shit.
And one source said that 91... So this particular source said that between 1961 and 1989, which is when the Berlin Wall fell, 91 people were shot by the GDR soldiers. But again, like, another source said 327 people were killed while escaping. I don't know.
Yeah.
Different sources said different things. I'm not entirely sure. I will say, just so you know, and I wasn't sure where else to put this, that the shoot order was lifted in April of 1989, which was a few months before the Berlin Wall fell, because they were trying to loosen things up.
It was built in 61. So the shoot order was in for 2 decades?
Almost 3, yeah.
Holy shit.
So, like I said earlier, before the wall, people could come in and out of East and West Berlin. There were subways, there were trains, they could go to work. Like, a lot of people lived in East Berlin, would go work in West Berlin and go back home.
And now they don't have a job.
Or vice versa. Well, the state now owned all the jobs. So they did have, I mean, probably not as many. I'll get to it at the very end about, like, the job situation. But and what was interesting is that, because there were people who lived in West Berlin and worked in East Berlin, they were permitted to come in, work, and leave. Mm-hmm. But people in East Berlin could not leave. They were not allowed to leave unless it was on a very special occasion, like, not even occasion, but, like, very special circumstances.
So West Berlin could come into East and work and leave.
Yeah.
But not the other way around.
Because they were afraid that East Berliners who, like, worked in West Berlin wouldn't come back.
Yeah, because they wouldn't.
And, right, because they lost so much of the population already in East Germany. There were strict border patrols and checkpoints. When the wall was first built, there were 3 primary checkpoints. I don't have them listed in German, but there was checkpoint Alpha, Checkpoint Beta, and Checkpoint Charlie. And Checkpoint Charlie was the U.S. checkpoint. So I think Checkpoint Alpha was the one going into the French West Germany. Beta was going into the British West Germany territory, and then Charlie was going into
that would make sense. ABC, Charlie is the military word.
Yeah, it's
for
the phonetic.
C. Yeah, alphabet, that's what it is. Yeah.
And eventually they had like 12 total checkpoints going, I think, through the whole wall. But those were the primary checkpoints. And I meant to go... So I read very quickly about this. There was an incident with Checkpoint Charlie between October 27th and 28th, 1961. So not long after it was built, like the next month. I think there's like a diplomat or someone who's trying to leave East and go into West Berlin to like see a show or something. And he may have had the proper paperwork. Again, I meant to look further into it and I didn't. But it caused a commotion.
Okay.
And he ended up calling the U.S. Embassy to help him out. And the standoff was tanks. There were literal tanks at this checkpoint. And they were like squaring off against each other. They didn't fire the tanks, thankfully, but it got really tense.
Did the guy get through?
I think so.
And I bet he never went back. He was like, no.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Which I don't even think he lived in East Berlin. I think he was just visiting. Like, he was a diplomat or something. Some kind of higher up. And it caused a whole ruckus. And West Berliners didn't like this wall either. They literally, someone was graffitied the letters KZ, which... It's an abbreviation for the German word for concentration camp. So West Berliners didn't like this either. And they thought it was very oppressive. And JFK actually came to West Berlin to give a speech in 1963 to a crowd of over 120,000 people. And it was right next to, I believe, Checkpoint Charlie. He said in German, "I am a Berliner," which made him like very popular in Berlin. So people did continue to try to escape East Berlin and East Germany. Between 1961 and 1989, more than 5,000 East Germans and like 600 border guards were able to escape.
Wow.
But the methods were wild. So some people would like jump out of buildings, like jump out of windows of buildings that were like right next to the wall.
Yeah.
Some people managed to climb over the wall. Some people used hot air balloons.
Oh.
Some people crawled through the sewers.
Ooh.
And there were a couple instances where people would just drive through the wall.
Oh.
In their cars. Or trucks or whatever.
Oh, like the open spaces?
Crash. No, crash into the wall. To create a hole. And then leave through the hole.
Jesus. That's desperate.
Yes. So, about a decade later, you know, my section is Things Are Thawing.
Yeah.
In 1970, the Treaty of Moscow was signed between the West German Chancellor Willy Brandt and the Soviet Prime Minister Alexei Kosygin. Mm-hmm. And they were declaring no more violence between Western and Eastern Europe.
Okay.
So they're as a whole trying to decrease tensions and violence. In 1975, there was a conference on security and cooperation in Europe, or the CSCE, and the SED, which again is like the Communist Political Party in East Berlin, begrudgingly admitted that they didn't want to. They were kind of forced to admit that it was a human right to travel. Really?
Yeah.
Immediately, East German citizens were putting in applications to permanently move or immigrate to West Germany. I don't know how many of these applications were granted, but they're like, oh, you said that people have the right to move around freely. It's a human right. But you're still not letting us leave.
If you just give people a reason to stay, they will. If you treat them humanely, people don't want to leave their homes.
Right. But if they're in an oppressive regime where they can't be outspoken, they don't have the right to vote, they, just don't have, like, certain freedoms, they're going to want to leave to a place where they have those freedoms.
Yes.
So there was a growing opposition with this. There's a growing opposition movement at the perceived failures of the SED and how people in East Berlin did not like living there. And it wasn't just happening in East Berlin or in East Germany. There were growing tensions in other Soviet bloc controlled countries like Poland, Hungary, Lithuania, other Soviet controlled spaces. Jump forward a few more years. In 1983, the SED is like, we do kind of look really oppressive with all this barbed wire and like spikes everywhere. Maybe we should start taking out all of these really oppressive, menacing obstacles.
Really?
So it doesn't look like we're trying to force people to stay.
But you are!
They are! But they're trying to improve their image so other countries aren't like, wow, that's a shithole country,
Good God.
A couple years later, in 1985, Mikhail Gorbachev becomes the leader of the Communist Party in the USSR. And he was more lenient than Khrushchev was. And I think we talked about it when we talked about the Cuban Missile Crisis, but he did want to introduce reforms. He actually got a lot of enemies from this because people were like, no, we need to stay the oppressive Soviet Union, the strong. And he was like, everyone hates us. Let's try to change up some things.
Yeah.
But he was perceived as being weak for this in the stuff I've read. But he does try to introduce reforms to solve the problems in Eastern Soviet Europe. He's like, everyone hates us. Everyone hates being here. Let's try to encourage and pass some reforms to get people to want to stay. And
it's simple. He's on the right track.
And Soviet higher-ups are like, no, we must be strong. But the Iron Curtain is beginning to drip a little bit. It's beginning to not be as
coming off the curtain rod
firm.
a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
The SED, of course, is not interested in adopting these new policies, but they were kind of forced to because they're under the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union tells you to jump. You say how high. So my next section is called The Fall of the Wall.
Okay.
The 1980s, not looking great for the USSR.
No.
There are massive food shortages. There's economic issues going on. A little thing called Chernobyl happened in 1986.
Yeah. Also, it's almost like, why are you shocked? You're not letting any commerce in or out. Like,
right. Everything is contained.
And
they're just letting in Pepsi.
just Pepsi.
They're just Pepsi. That's it.
You can't live on Pepsi alone.
So it even gets to the point where on June 12, 1987, President Reagan traveled to Germany and gave the speech, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Yeah.
There was an incident between September 30th and October 4th where 18 East Germans fled to the U.S. Embassy in East Berlin. And it got to the point where guards were set up, and it's not a funny picture, but it's almost comical because it is just guards traveling out of the entrance and then down the sidewalk, like shoulder to shoulder, so people can't just like run into the embassy.
Oh.
Like I said earlier, there's big changes happening in other Eastern Bloc countries where, because of these reforms that are being passed, local governments are able to be governments and pass their own policies and their own laws. So the grip of the Soviet Union is starting to loosen on these other countries. And they're not, I wouldn't say they're fully independent. They're not revolutions happening, but things are loosening, they're lightening up. There's a little bit more freedom happening in the Balkans, in Hungary, in Poland.
Right.
There's more protests happening to say, hey, stop being so oppressive.
Yeah.
And thousands of people, like tens of thousands of people are attending these protests, and they're peaceful, largely peaceful. Romania was the only one that wasn't very peaceful. That one got pretty bloody, but all the other ones were largely very peaceful. Romania got really, that one was rough.
The land of vampires. Of course, it got bloody.
They took the prime minister and his wife and like killed them brutally.
Oh,
it was
shit.
Really bad. Yeah. Anyway.
No.
October 9th, I believe 1987, 70,000 people in Leipzig protested peacefully, but they're like, let's get rid of this wall. Yeah. Let's enact change. So there's a lot of talks about reunification of East and West Germany.
Yeah.
The new leader of the Communist Party of the SED, Egon Krenz, told the BBC on October 30th that they were not interested in reunification. That was not their goal. They were just trying to enact new reform to make things a little bit better.
Right.
I saw this in a source. It said the government resigned. I don't know what that means.
Just resigned?
The government resigned. And I literally put a question mark. It's like, how does the government just say,
we're done? Sorry.
Done.
Sorry for that.
This is on November 7th.
Of 87?
Okay, this is all of 1989. Sorry.
89. Okay.
Okay. Let me back up a little bit.
Okay.
So, on November 4th of 1989, over 500,000 people in East Berlin launch a mass protest.
Oh, yeah, they're done.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of pressure. And one of the sources I read was positing that why wasn't the Soviet government using force against these protesters?
Right.
And it just seemed like Gorbachev didn't want to.
Right. Well, that has to be like their whole population.
Yeah, and I think because the source mentioned, I think this is the BBC article I was reading, but a little bit prior in the country of Georgia, which was also controlled by the Soviets, 21 protesters had been killed.
Oh. That's not good.
But I also wonder if, because these are massive protests, if they're like, we cannot safely, for our own safety, try to quash this rebellion, because you have maybe like 1,000, 2,000 guards against 500,000 people.
Yeah.
That math ain't not math.
No, the math ain't math in there. That would be suicide.
Right. So the government then chooses to resign.
I mean, it makes sense now, yeah.
They're like, never mind. Krenz is still the leader. I saw that he was like the de facto leader. Because I guess the SED just disintegrated. They're like, nope, never mind. The GDR is still largely in control, but the SED is like, no, never mind. So they're like, okay. The people in government, like, okay, we need to fix things before things get bad. Things are still peaceful, but they're going to get bad. So they were saying, let's make things a little bit easier to get out of East Germany. Mm-hmm. We're not going to completely open the border, but we'll start opening up travel again.
Okay.
So on November 9th, 1989, the speaker for the SED, GDR, whatever, his name was Gunther Schabowski. He was brand new to the role.
Oh, bless.
And he had a press conference to discuss these changes to the border crossing rules and guidelines. He was handed his notes right before, so he didn't have time to review these rules and regulations. So what was supposed to happen was he was going to give this announcement, and the next day guidelines would be sent out about applying for a visa to leave East Berlin. What actually happened was Schabowski read, quote, private travel outside the country can now be applied for without prerequisites. And so reporters were like, what the hell does that mean? When is this going to take effect? And he said, as far as I know, immediately.
Oh.
So East Berliners watch this press conference on television, because it's 1989. They immediately, by the thousands, go to the wall. And they're like, he said that travel restrictions are being lifted immediately, let's go. So there's a guard named Harold Jaeger. And he was telling a newspaper later that he was at his station, his little command station at the wall. He also just finished watching this press conference on television.
He was probably like, oh shit.
Well, he looks up and he sees thousands of people coming towards the wall. And he is calling his superiors. And he's like, what do I do? And no one is telling him what to do. He's like, do I let them through? Do I shoot them? Like, what do I do? I have no idea what to do. Yeah. And they're like, I don't know. So after like a couple hours, he's seeing that things are going to get dangerous because there's so many people. Like, someone is going to get hurt. So he tells his men to open the gates. And East Germans just flood through the Brandenburg Gate.
He made the right call. People would have started getting violent.
Yes.
You can't dangle that in front of somebody.
No. And this part almost made me cry. I'm literally getting chills just what I'm about to say. So West Berliners were waiting on the other side of the wall with flowers and champagne. I know.
They ran to the wall too.
They did. They ran to the wall and they're like, our brothers and sisters are coming back to us. Over the next couple days, over 2 million East Berliners traveled into West Berlin and had, quote, the greatest street party in the history of the world.
I bet they did.
Oh my God, I'm actually tearing up.
I mean, there's family members. Think about it. This is almost 30 years. There is a 27, 28-year-old person who has probably never met an aunt or an uncle on the other side of that wall, who is just now meeting family members for the first time.
Yeah, or family friends, or just seeing, like, the source, one of the sources I read said that people leaving East Berlin just, like, went into shops and just bought a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
And we're, like, buying clothes and buying liquor and just buying whatever the hell they wanted.
And how many of them never went back home? Just left.
I know. Well, okay, I'll get to it in just a second.
Okay.
So, like, as people were coming in, I mean, people are trying to physically knock down the wall. And there's
Yes.
pictures that I have of you of, like, people standing on it. People are getting hammers and chisels and picks, and they're just trying to knock it down with their bare hands.
I love
And
it.
eventually, bulldozers and cranes and whatnot are brought in to actually dismantle the wall. So, someone spray painted on a remaining piece of the wall, quote, "Only today is the war really over." Ugh, I'm getting goosebumps
It's
again.
true, though, because it's been like that since World War II.
Since 1945, they're united.
Holy shit.
Ugh.
Ugh.
And there was a headline from the BZ newspaper in Germany. In English, it said, "The wall is down. Berlin is again Berlin." I know. Ugh. Immediately, the call for reunification
Yes.
is up. They say, enough of this, East and West. Let's make this one Berlin, one Germany again.
Yes.
The most amazing thing about this is that there was never an official order to reunify or to, like, break down the wall. People just did it, and then the Soviet Union was like, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
They realized they pushed too hard. They're like, sorry.
Yeah. So the Soviet Union was willing to have talks about reunification.
Yeah.
Like the East German government, the West German government, the Soviet Union, and the US were all, like, ready to go to talk about reunification. Great Britain and France were bit more hesitant. They were not really wanting to do reunification. I didn't see why. I saw something about Margaret Thatcher, who was the prime minister of Great Britain at the time, was, like, being really shady about it. But Berlin and Germany were officially reunified on October 3rd of 1990.
Wow.
So, legacy of the wall. Immediately, there are certain parts of the wall that remain standing and were named as a historical monument in 1990.
Okay. They're still standing to this day?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I guess, it's important to have monuments to remember the past, so you don't repeat it.
Yeah.
The USSR was already losing its power by this time.
Yes.
And it had actually completely dissolved by 1991.
It was floundering.
Yeah. And by 1992, a market economy was already starting to reappear in East Germany.
Oh, good.
So but I did see an article that was written by Sabine Ranafans, and she was 15 when the wall came down.
Yeah.
And she said that not everything was great about the wall coming down. She said that actually millions of people in East Germany lost their jobs because corporations were now privatized. So, and she said her own father, who I think was an engineer, lost his job, and he was never able to get another job that paid as well and was as consistent as his job while in the Eastern Bloc.
Right.
And then you have a lot of people leaving East Germany to go to West Germany because there's more job opportunities and better financial opportunities in West Germany. So now you have a lot of people leaving So by 1994, only 18% of East Germans worked where they had in 1991.
Wow.
So in 3 years, only 18% of East Germans had the same job.
Well, you know, when a government crumbles like that, it's not just the government that crumbles. Everything under it crumbles with it. And that's unfortunate. Like, it's not saying that the USSR should still be around. Absolutely not.
Right.
I don't know if I might be jumping the gun here. There should have been more support for those citizens on that end. Mm-hmm. And not just them being left to whatever.
Yeah, because, I mean, even to this day, well, as of 2019, the GDP per capita in East Germany was 20% lower than in West Germany.
Wow.
And salaries and wages were about 15% lower too. So, like, I mean, decades later, those ramifications are still in effect.
Yeah. It would have to take a lot of reconstruction and a lot of money put into those areas for them to get bolstered back up.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But when, like, the entire government is gone, basically, you know, like, it's really hard. I couldn't tell you how to do it.
Right. Yeah. What do you do when there is no government?
Yeah. Apparently you section things off into 4 equal parts.
Yeah.
Like they did in 1845.
Look, it sounded good in theory, okay? Not good, though.
It was just so different, you know? Like, it seems like things were pretty okay between, like, the different Western ally territories, like U.S., France, and Great Britain's territories. That, I mean, they're all, you know, free market, capitalistic. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say fully democratic because I don't know if France had a monarchy. I don't think they had a monarchy, but the UK does. So, but they're similar. And then you have the communists, you know, like the capitalists and the communists are so different. And they each think the other one is evil, you know, so it's just...
It was an interesting experiment, though, to see how well the communist ideal actually worked. Mm-hmm. And it didn't.
And I've seen this so many times where, like, people have talked about, I mean, I haven't read any Karl Marx or anything, but on paper, communism seems like it could work.
Yeah.
But it has not yet, because things have never truly been in the power of the people. The citizens have not owned, what is it? The I can't think of it right now. I'm too tired. But there has always been, like, a government in place that has taken control and has been totalitarian in these communist settings. And so it's not like it's totalitarianism, not like true communism. You know, it's not a true community of people. What is it? Owning the rights of production.
Right.
Because it all went to the government. And then the government just dispersed everything. So, like, it just hasn't worked on paper, or hasn't worked in real life. Anyway.
It's easy to become corrupt.
Yes, very.
And that's probably why it won't work. Because humans...
Because this was a dictatorship. This was, and, like, multiple German sources said this was a dictatorship. Yep. Not...
And that's the problem with communism, is on paper it works. Because on paper, you don't have a human actually dishing it out. Humans are flawed.
Yes.
Just in general, in broad, humans are flawed.
And they love being in control.
Yeah. And there is the power drunkenness of it. The moment they get in control, they're going to do what's best for themselves.
Right. So to finish this episode out, There is a memorial for the victims who were killed while attempting to cross the border in Berlin near the Parliament building. And parts of the wall do remain today. There's actually an interactive website you can go on to look at different parts of the wall in different areas of Berlin and to like kind of track the old wall. And now there is an enormous art gallery at a part of the old Berlin Wall called the East Side Gallery. And it's like an open air, free air art gallery.
Cool.
It's really cool looking. So that is the story of the Berlin Wall.
It's just so fascinating.
I know.
Like sad and horrendous, but also fascinating.
So fascinating. And I remember hearing about it, and I remember hearing, I mean, it was joyous. Like around the world, everyone celebrated the Berlin Wall being torn down.
That had to have stung the USSR.
They were too busy trying not to disintegrate, I think.
Right.
They're just like,
And
we're just trying to
not
stay.
Die from the millions of people, you know, tearing down their shit and tearing them down, basically.
Yeah.
Damn.
And just the happiness and the hope and the just how happy people were when the wall came down and how everyone was like, yes, let's be together. It's just so beautiful.
It
is. Like when we were talking about it a few minutes ago, I had tears in my eyes talking about it.
I mean, think about, you're in this oppressive world where you're scared to even say the wrong thing, and you break through the wall and you're expecting to see just streets, just nobody. And your fellow man is just on the other side waiting for you with open arms.
And champagne
and flowers. I would have been happy with the open arms, but like...
I know.
Like
and
they were like
the street party to end all street parties.
Yes, we were like, we've been waiting for you. Welcome to the rest of the world.
I'm gonna cry again.
I feel it.
I love hope and happiness and positivity so much. We need more of that. I will say, sources are in the show notes. I got a few different German websites I got some information from. If you want to read the article about the woman's personal experience growing up in East Germany when the wall fell, that is the Guardian article by Sabine Renefans it's titled, I was a teenager in East Germany when the wall fell. Today we are still divided. But all of my sources were really good. Yeah.
It's really hard to think that the wall fell and only 4 years later we were born.
I know. That's crazy.
Like, what do
Nick
you
was
mean?
alive.
Nick was a year old. Yeah. Or
Weird.
When did it fall?
1989.
Like
November
what month?
1st. November 9th, 1989.
Yeah, he was a year and a little over a month. Or a year and a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
This is really random, but whenever I think of the Berlin Wall, all I can think of, it's so random.
Yeah.
And I don't know why it's in my head. What I'm going to say, you will not be prepared for what I'm about to say.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember, but there was this commercial for Sesame Street, and Big Bird was going to all these different historic events throughout history. And there was this one scene where he was at the Berlin Wall being torn down, and he's like jumping up and down in the crowd. All I could think of is Big Bird was at the fall of the Berlin Wall. And I asked my mom, because I saw the commercial, and it was the only thing I didn't know of or recognize. I said, Mom, what is that? Like, what is this? And she said, oh, the Berlin Wall was torn down, and with no other context, like nothing else. And I was like, oh, okay, a wall fell down. Apparently that was a big deal. And Big Bird was very happy to be there.
Could you imagine just like being at the Berlin Wall as it's being torn down and Big Bird is just like jumping up and down?
Oh man, I have a horrible fact about Big Bird.
Oh no.
He was almost in the Challenger.
What?
They were thinking about putting Big Bird in the Challenger.
Wait, they would have had to end Sesame Street. Like,
can you imagine? Like, I mean, school, because a teacher was on the Challenger. So school children across the country were tuned in to watch the Challenger and see it explode live on television. Can you imagine?
What year did the Challenger
additional
explode?
Trauma? Huh?
What year did the Challenger explode?
It was in the 80s. Like maybe 1988.
Okay. I asked that and then
Oh, 1986. January 28th, 1986.
Okay. I completely forgot where I was going with that.
Can you imagine the additional trauma of kids knowing Big Bird?
Yeah, okay. Here's the trauma. The same kids in 86. Yeah, okay, so you mean to tell me that the kids watching that would have had to live through not only seeing the Challenger explode, but Big Bird explode on the Challenger and then become early 20-year-olds and watch 9/11 happen. They don't need that.
The millennials are not all right.
We're not okay. We've seen too many once-in-a-lifetime things happen in our one lifetime. The math ain't mathin'.
I know.
They literally announced that aliens are real, and we're all like, all right, I still gotta go to work.
That's not even the craziest thing that's happened this month.
No, okay, we know. We've seen them. Shut the fuck up. Like, I gotta go to work in the morning, so, like, are they invading? Like, I just need to... Okay, they're not...
I'm just trying to live here.
Right. Yeah, everyone's been saying that for decades now, and you've just been pretending they didn't. So just...
Yeah.
I'm going to bed. Like... It was the funniest reaction I've ever seen. We're so tired.
We're so tired. Let's do socials and go to bed, because it is after midnight your time.
Yeah. Oh shit, it is. Okay. You can find us on Facebook,
Ill-Equipped History Podcast Group and page.
Gmail,
ill-equippedhistory@gmail.com.
Instagram,
@ill-equippedhistory.
TikTok,
@ill-equippedhistory.
and Patreon.
Patreon.com/ill-equippedhistory.
Guys, we're going to have some bonuses for you. We already have bonuses for you.
Good. We're going to have more bonuses for you.
We're going to have, like, merch bonuses for you. So stay tuned.
So excited. I cannot wait for merch.
Oh my God. It's going to happen.
Finally, after 3 years.
Yeah. Of like
over 3 years, we'll have merch.
Yeah. We need to chat about where we're getting this merch from.
Okay.
We're going to do it.
Yeah.
I guess If you want people to stay in your country, be nice to them. That's the easiest way.
Be a good country.
Don't be shit. You know?
Just get good.
Just get good. Be a country worth living in, damn it.
Yes. And be there for your fellow man to welcome him with open arms.
Exactly.
I'm going to cry about that.
Like I tell my children all the time, you lead with kindness first.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I tell them that after they yell at each other. Like, hey, that's not how you get what you want. You lead with kindness first.
Then you yell.
Get combative if they don't respond to the kindness. Notice I said first, not in game, all right?
Yes. You got to stick up for yourself.
You do, and that's exactly how East Berlin got out.
Yes.
They tore it down.
Tore it to the ground.
Yeah. To the ground. Okay, we gotta go. Oh my god.
We're getting crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
I almost said love you.
Love you.
Yeah.